Everyone ages at their own pace, and there's nothing wrong with that. Beauty comes in all shapes and sizes, and the last thing we're here to do is shame anyone. Still, it's amazing how genetics, lifestyle choices, and even movie roles can shape how a celebrity changes over time. Just take a look at these side-by-side comparisons of celebrities you had no idea were the same age. Kate Upton versus Selena Gomez. Kate Upton has been an icon of the fashion industry for years, from shows on the hottest runways to multiple appearances on the cover of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. Clearly, she's a beautiful woman, but there's something about her face that's just so mature for her age. After all, she was only born in 1992. It's easier to see when you compare her to Selena Gomez, who just so happens to be the same age. It's been a while since Gomez appeared on Wizards of Waverly Place, but maybe some of the show's magic had a lingering effect on her looks. She looks years younger than Upton. Jennifer Lawrence versus Sarah Hyland. Jennifer Lawrence got her big break with The Hunger Games, but she's gone on to become an Oscar-winning actress with huge roles in Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, and Joy. Maybe it's because she's taken on such serious roles, but it's not hard to argue that she looks a little older than her birth year of 1990 would seem to indicate. Meanwhile, Sarah Hyland, an essential member of the ensemble cast of Modern Family, was born in the same year, but somehow looks a lot younger than Lawrence. It could be that her role allows her to be more fun-loving than J-Law's Katniss Everdeen, which in turn makes her appear younger. But there's also something about those plump cheeks that give her a more youthful look. Taylor Swift versus Dakota Johnson. When Taylor Swift broke into the music industry with her self-titled album in 2006, she was just 17 years old. It's been more than a decade since then, and she doesn't look like she's aged more than a day. With her girly style, carefree songs, and steady stream of whirlwind romances, it just feels like she's in a much earlier stage in life. Dakota Johnson may not have as long or big of a career as Swift, but she does have deep Hollywood roots. Her mother is Melanie Griffith, her father is Don Johnson, and her grandmother is the legendary star of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, Tippi Hedren. The budding actress has been captivating audiences with her risque portrayal of Anastasia Steele in the 50 Shades movies, but despite the innocence of Miss Steele, we can't help notice that Johnson looks, well, a bit older than Swift does, right? Emilia Clarke versus Lena Dunham. When she's not busy wearing an elegant toga gown as the mother of dragons on Game of Thrones, Emilia Clarke goes about her life as a normal person, with homes in both London and Venice Beach. You know, normal. And then there's the fact that she doesn't look at all like she was born 3 decades ago, in 1986, especially without her Khaleesi wig. Meanwhile, her same-age counterpart, Lena Dunham, looks several years older at the very least. The creator and star of HBO's hit show Girls tends to opt for a more organic, down-to-earth look, and takes on roles that are a bit grittier. Maybe her more subdued persona adds to a more mature look, but it's hard to accept that she and Clarke are really the same age. Katherine Heigl versus Rachel McAdams. For years now, Katherine Heigl has been dogged by rumors that she's difficult to work with. As a result, we haven't seen much of her lately. Citing bad writing on the part of the Grey's Anatomy staff, she declined to be considered for an Emmy Award back in 2007, and famously clashed with Seth Rogen after making disparaging remarks about Knocked Up. They say that a bad attitude can age a person. Combine that with the fact that Heigl smoked for years, and you can see how she might look a little older than her 1978 birth date would make it seem. On the other hand, Rachel McAdams is the same age but looks much younger. Yeah, she wasn't the nicest character in Mean Girls, or the smartest.
Is butter a carb? Yes.
But after over a decade of stardom, there has been very little controversy surrounding the actress. Over the years, the Canadian star has won the hearts of audiences in films such as The Notebook, and more recently made the leap into the Marvel Universe in Doctor Strange. What's really strange is how many years apart these two same-aged actors look. Jim Parsons versus Andrew Lincoln. Anyone who has watched The Big Bang Theory will be familiar with Sheldon Cooper. Neurotic and clever, the character's love for trains and video games makes him seem plenty youthful. And despite being born in 1973 and already in his 40s, Jim Parsons is more than able to bring a childlike enthusiasm to the 30-something man-child that's won him so much recognition. That's why it's so shocking to look at a picture of Jim Parsons next to Andrew Lincoln and accept that they are, in fact, the same age. And judging by his appearance in 2003's Love Actually, this is a guy who didn't receive the gift of Hollywood immortality that guys like Keanu have enjoyed. Maybe it's because all of the sun-drenched days he's spent filming The Walking Dead in the Atlanta sun, but Lincoln definitely looks older. Paul Rudd versus Rory McCann. Now, on the subject of Hollywood immortality, look no further than Paul Rudd. The man has barely aged in 2 decades. Most people first saw him in Clueless back in 1995. Compare that to how he looked in 2005 when the 40-Year-Old Virgin was released. Leap ahead another 10 years to 2015 for Ant-Man, and, well, now we're getting suspicious. Compare Rudd's youthful face to Game of Thrones' Rory McCann, and you'll be shocked all over again to learn that they were both born in 1969. Again, this is more about Rudd looking young than it is about McCann aging badly. But isn't it a little hard to believe that these men were born in the same year?
Yarb.
John Stamos versus Mike Myers. Back in 1982, General Hospital viewers swooned over the new character Blackie Parrish, handsomely portrayed by John Stamos. The actor really came into his own, however, in the role of Jesse Katsopoulos on Full House. Today, having crossed the half-century mark with his 1963 birth year, he's still making hearts beat faster, even if it's just in commercials for Greek yogurt. By comparison, Austin Powers actor and creator Mike Myers looks every bit of his 5+ decades. The former Saturday Night Live cast member has since gone gray and is usually photographed wearing a pair of glasses, or at least looking really, really tired. He's still got that great funny man persona he always had, but it's hard not to wonder what happened.
Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Chuck Norris versus Michael Gambon. Let's just get one thing out of the way. Chuck Norris is not a normal human being. So is anyone really shocked that the martial arts expert and action star looks a lot younger than his 7 decades plus? Father Time came looking for him, but Father Time's the only one who got clocked. Meanwhile, Michael Gambon looks exactly like the kind of guy you'd expect to have been born in 1940. This is precisely why he was such a good pick to take over the role of Albus Dumbledore in the Harry Potter series, after the original Dumbledore, Richard Harris, passed away in 2002. On a side note, who wouldn't want to see a battle between Chuck Norris and Dumbledore? Thanks for watching! Click the list icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too!